So Steve Matthews with Honky Tonkin, taking on Peak Range from nearly my hometown. He lives in St Leonard's. He works in Bexhill, where I live. Not sure if he's got a passenger on board this time or not. He hasn't. It's amazing how you wobble your head when I talk, isn't it? I like that. So good luck, Pete. Hope everything sticks together. Really nice launch, 126 to 60 foot. If the GoPro falls off, you know he's going too fast. 907, 147, back towards the right numbers. Well done, mate. 1108 for Steve Matthews. 115. Well, consider just running that in. That's not bad numbers for Pete. Well done. Also, for you funny car fans, we got our first funny car around the back of the tower as well. Matt Wright with the all or nothing Cuda. The first time I think that car's ever going to be going down a racetrack. So down here in the Autoglim lane, Johan Tjernström from Sweden with the slingshot taking on the Earthquake of Luca Gavoni. Johan had a really good run earlier on today, absolutely all over the place. Went in the mid eights, this time he goes 863, 154. And a 1055 for Luca. Okay, Jake Clayton with the altered once again. In Supercharged Outlaws. So Jake Clayton putting in a couple of runs today, hopefully going a bit further down the racetrack and all being well all the way through the finish line this time. We'll be back in a little while to run as part of the Outlaws. Typical auto fashion, launched completely sideways as opposed to forward. But that looks more like a full run. Well done, mate. 8:61 at 1:49. Good lad. I'm guessing out loud that's his quickest run ever. Right, with the time approaching 4:30, we will be coming up for a break shortly. But before we get there, we have the starter being attached to Matt Wright's All or Nothing Cuda funny car around here for his first ever run. With this car anyway. He's driven plenty of other stuff. And Matt's actually got two cars here this weekend. He's got this funny car. He's also got his turbine slingshot dragster. Yes, you heard that right. Turbine slingshot dragster.
Okay, so I'm continuing my pit walk and I bumped into Butch and Chloe. Now, Chloe, you're entered in the Run What You Brung this weekend.
Yes.
What are you looking forward to?
Everything about it is just exciting.
Now, what times have you run so far?
My personal best is 12.5 and I think that was 106 miles per hour. But we're having a few problems at the minute where my miles per hour was going up, but my times are slowing down. So I've done 112 miles per hour at 13.5. So we're trying to sort of work out what the problems are with it, and hopefully next run I'll hopefully get a better PB than I've got at the minute.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, and Butch, now obviously you're out in the new car, which is road legal, I believe, as well.
It's street legal, yes. Because it was originally built for street eliminator.
Okay.
To take over where I left off. But there's so much money in it now, I'm thinking, dare I race it and blow it up?
Yeah, you've had a couple of incidents.
I've had a couple of incidents,
No,
yeah.
that's fine. But this weekend you're in the WILLYS Wars.
WILLYS Wars, yeah. Number 4, because we took the car over from someone with the number 4 number on it.
Okay.
So, and then basically rebuilt it.
Brilliant.
To my own spec. And it's what you see. What it's going to do today, I have no idea.
Okay. Well, 3 questions. First of all, when did you first come to Sanderpod?
When I was about 3 years old.
3 years old. We're not going to ask how far that back because I was black and white. Chloe, you?
Baby, probably in a pushchair, I should think. Yeah.
Okay. And what are you most looking forward to this weekend of everything at Dragstalgia?
I think the Cackle Fest, I look forward to that.
Okay, so Saturday night Cackle Fest.
Saturday night Cackle Fest.
Get all the pipes lit on the start line,
Yeah.
that's going to be something special. And Butch?
Sunshine and PBs.
Sunshine and PBs, nice. And okay then, the final question. which I've completely forgot, so we're not going to do it. That's it.
In that case, the answer is yes.
Yes. Okay. That was. Can I have a passenger ride in the car?
Yes.
I heard that. Right, there you go. You heard it here first. Butch is going to give me a passenger ride. Again, it is Friday, setup day here at Santa Pod Raceway. Tomorrow is when the business happens. Come and join us here at Santa Pod
On
Raceway.
the racetrack. Well, nice enough to 60 foot, no problems whatsoever for Matt. That's for something for the team to build on. Okay, we're on a break once again, ladies and gentlemen, till 5 p.m. when we resume with the first rounds for everything. Starting off with the WILLYS Wars at 5 o'clock, Nostalgia Superstock, Wild Bunch, Gasser Circus, Nostalgia Pro Stock Bike, Outlaw Wranglers, Supercharged Outlaws, and maybe, just maybe, a few more of our shootout cars as well. So we've seen around about half an hour's time, something like that. So grab yourself a coffee or a drink. Be back here for 5 p.m.
I think it's all angels just walk by. There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my there goes a sight. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my soul.
Welcome to Dragstalgia 2019. It is the Friday, it's the chill and arrival day. As you can see, Run What You Run pairing lanes are nice and full. There's a queue behind me of people signing on for Run What You Run. It's going to be an absolutely awesome day here at Santa Pod Raceway. Okay, so I'm continuing my pit walk and I bumped into Butch and Chloe. Now Chloe, you're entered in the Run What You Run this weekend.
Yes.
What are you looking forward to?
Everything about it is just exciting.
Now what times have you run so far?
My personal best is 12.5 and I think that was 106 miles per hour. But we're having a few problems at the minute where my miles per hour was going up, but my times are slowing down. So I've done 112 miles per hour at 13.5. So we're trying to sort of work out what the problems are with it, and hopefully next one I'll hopefully get a better PB than I've got at the minute.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, and Butch, now obviously you're out in the new car, which is road legal, I believe, as well.
It's street legal, yes. Because it was originally built for street eliminator.
Okay.
To take over where I left off, but there's so much money in it now, I'm thinking, dare I race it and blow it up?
Yeah, you've had a couple of incidents.
I've had a couple of incidents, yeah.
That's fine. But this weekend you're in the WILLYS Wars.
WILLYS Wars, yeah. Number 4, because we took the car over from someone with the number 4 number on it.
Okay.
So, and then basically rebuilt it.
Brilliant.
To my own spec. And it's what you see. What it's going to do today, I have no idea.
Okay. Well, 3 questions. First of all, when did you first come to Santa Pod?
When I was about 3 years old.
3 years old. We're not going to ask how far that back because I was black and white. Chloe, you?
Baby, probably in a pushchair, I should think. Yeah.
Okay. And what are you most looking forward to this weekend of everything at Dragstalgia?
I think the Cackle Fest. I look forward to that.
Okay, so Saturday night Cackle Fest.
Saturday night Cackle Fest.
Get all the pipes lit on the start line.
Yeah.
That's going to be something special. And Butch?
Sunshine and PBs.
Sunshine and PBs, nice. And okay then, the final question. which I've completely forgot, so we're not going to do it. That's it.
In that case, the answer is yes.
Yes. Oh, good. That was. Can I have a passenger ride in the car?
Yes.
I heard that. Right, there you go. You heard it here first. Butch is going to give me a passenger ride. Again, it is Friday, setup day here at Santa Pod Raceway. Tomorrow is when the business happens. Come and join us here at Santa Pod Raceway. If you can't make it, just tune in on the live feed. Catch you later.
The one my heart has gone to me, I want to wait. Tico, 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 tock. Tico, tick. Oh, tico, 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 tock. Tico, tick. Oh, tico, 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 tock. Tico, tick. Oh, tico, tico, tock. This tico, tico is a cuckoo in my car.
goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. There goes a sight from my soul. I think it's all angels just walk by. 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 There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my soul.
Welcome to Dragstalgia 2019. It is the Friday, it's the chill and arrival day. As you can see, Run What You Rung pairing lanes are nice and full. There's a queue behind me of people signing on for Run What You Rung. It's going to be an absolutely awesome day here at Santa Pod Raceway.
Because they know how he plays when someone gives him a beat. He really breaks it up when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle by company fee. Da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da da dee da. And the company jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle by company fee. Thank you very much. Hi, next up, we feel like we're in a bit of a foreign country at the minute. The weather's so beautiful, we've been very, very lucky. It could be Spain, which leads us very nicely onto our next song. Another one by the Andrews Sisters with lots of different languages in. This one's Say Si Si. In Spain, try, please tell me why. La da 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 da, won't you listen to my plea? Won't say yes in any language to me. Oh, oh, when you say see, see, say see, see. La da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da. If you could only say, see, see, wee, wee, yeah, yeah, da, 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 then all my life would be a song. Nothing could go wrong, go wrong, go wrong. If you give in, I win. I won't give up, give up. Darling, if you give in, I must hear, see, see, see. Oh, won't you listen to my plea? Please say yes in any language to me. Oh, won't you say, see, see, say, see, see. Thank you very much. Gracias. Where is the bar? Over here. All right. Do they serve rum and Coca-Cola in there? They do. It's expensive. Oh, we can afford it. So this is a song called Rum and Coca-Cola. This was actually banned during its time for being a bit too risque, and the mention of alcohol as well didn't help. If you ever go down Trinidad, they make you feel so very glad. Calypso, sing and make up rhyme, guarantee you one real good fine time. Drinking rum and Coca-Cola, go down Point Cool, godmothers and daughters, working for the Yankee dollar. Since the Yankees come to Trinidad, they got the young girls all going there.
We are back with the first session for the WILLYS Wars and two of the quicker cars that we're going to be seeing over the weekend. First of all, Tony Underhill with the beautifully grey primered supercharged big block WILLYS in the energy check lane, alongside Spencer Tidswell, who can't get reversed at the moment in the Battle Axe Warrior. Now, Tony is not new to drag racing. He's been around for a long while, having fun, crewing for other people. He does have his own car. He did have his own car before. However, this car is brand new to him. This was a mid-6 second Pro Mod car. And Tony used to crew on it, actually. So Spencer lining up in the Autoglim lane. Tony, energy check side of the racetrack. Well, Spencer's got the door open. Tony having a bit of a wobble towards the top end. 8:37 and a 10:05 for Tony, 98 miles an hour. Still his best run in the car, going in the right direction, most importantly. Well done to both of them. Tony's out in a little while again with the Supercharged Outlaws, actually, all being well. Up next, Butch Wilkins down there in the energy check lane. Beautifully, beautifully turned out Butcher's shop, 41 coupe. Take it, and Ray Irish with the Gas Junkie. Ray Irish, a real nice looking run to open his account with the WILLYS Wars. Goes 10.24, 128. Butch with the 12.38, 101 miles an hour. So both of the Wilkins family doing really, really well today, and both in the 12s actually, I think. Is that right? Yeah, both in the 12s. Good. So, Prozac. Underneath the tower, that's Richard Warburton. You've got to check all these cars out in the pits. There is so many of them that are absolutely show quality. Simon Daniels with a big wing and a parachute on the back of his small block WILLYS. Actually, they both run small blocks. Richard Warburton's, I think, is the quicker of the two normally, but that's if he runs nitrous or not. Well, it is going to be Richard Warburton on his own. Simon Daniels with problems on the start line. Richard with a gathering cloud of smoke. He's already put in a run or two during Run What You Brung sessions today. Clicks off at 12.34, 108. So Matt Hollins, Sleep at Violet Springs on the boot. Taking on Pike Murray with the Racked and Ruined 41. So 12.43 and a 12.55. So Mark Todd with the beautiful lemon painted small block WILLYS down there. Mark taking a bit of a break from driving his Aston, driving his GTO. Both 200-mile-an-hour race cars. Fair to say, I don't think this one's going to be, and no disrespect whatsoever. He still manages to light up the tyres off the starting line in true Mark fashion. Up against Al Rimmel with the Atomic 79, the 37 sedan. Very, very good looking 37 sedan, which will get there first in a 15.17 to a 15.29 for Mark. All that with the wheel slip off the start line. The Bacon Boys and Dad. The 41 pickup in the Auto Glim lane against Rich Davis, who we haven't seen for quite some time. We only see him as part of the WILLYS Wars these days. He's run with the Supercharged Outlaws. He's running Super Gas before. But the car is show quality. And still very quick indeed as well. Obviously, if you're in super gas, you need to run 9.9. He goes 10.20 at 120. And the Bacons go 11.94. Phil Miles with Triggers Broom. Immaculately turned out machines, as is Andy Crockett's 41 Coupe in the Auto Glim Lane. It's hard to imagine anywhere in the world, other than the States obviously, you'd find this larger collection of historic American cars, especially like a one-off make like these. It really is exceptional to see this many of them, and this immaculately turned out as well. But Phil Mills will get across the stripe first. 10.96 at 126. I think that was quite quick, to be honest with you. 14.7 that time for Andy Crockett. A few coughs and bangs on the way up. I don't think helped. So Ian Ratton and Stuart Flitton. Stu Flitton with the, what's the word I'm looking for? With a more bootlegger style WILLYS. However, Ian Ratton with the quicker of the two at the moment. .13.46 at 98 miles an hour and 15.64. Again, if you like what you see out on the racetrack, please go and have a wander around the pits and check out all the cars and the bikes as well that you see out here, because they are immaculately turned out. Paul Murphy, the Nutter Magnet. Should be Money Magnet, but you know, same thing. Chris Coburn. Looks like it will be Paul Murphy getting there first. 13.95 at 85 miles an hour. Couple of different versions of the WILLYS brand. 33 of Mick Payne. The retirement package. Very, very rapid car indeed down there in the energy check lane against Al Mears. With a 38 pickup. Again, gorgeously turned out car. Well, Mick Payne is long gone with the retirement package. Almir's just dropping a bit of stuff on the start line. 10.36 at 1:30 for Mick Payne. They look pretty happy with that. And a 12.28 or 111 for Al. We've got Gasser Circus not too far away as well by the looks of it. Let's have a quick look at the run order again as well. Check what's coming up. So yeah, I beg your pardon, next up is Nostalgia Superstock. Apologies. Then the Gasser Circus. Then Nostalgia Pro Stock Bike, Outlaw Wrangler and Supercharged Outlaws. And maybe interspersed in between some of those are going to be some of our Cannonball races or Slingshot races too. Maybe, depends on if they come down or not. So down to one lane for a moment. That's another one of those cars that definitely looks like it should be faster going in reverse than forwards, because it looks more streamlined from the back than it probably does from the front. The reason the front of these cars, as a lot of cars in drag racing, were raised, it was all about weight transfer and getting the all the weight to the rear end. However, they at the time didn't give too much thought to the fact that obviously you are sticking a whole bunch of metal up there out in the breeze that may be slowing you down. That's Dave Hinson with the Redneck Gasser. Quickest so far is still Spencer Tidswell with the 837, 13:28. Still a few more to come before we get to our biggest class, which is Nostalgia Superstock. So Billy Jones with the 37. On a bye run, we'll be back to side-by-side racing in just the next pair. $11.66, 1:15, nicely done. So, in Challoner and Dave Day, Plan B. The 33 WILLYS, beautifully turned out car, built from the ground up, I do believe, by Dave and his lad Elliot. That is a show quality machine, that one. As are both of them. Well, looks like the that was really weird. Went to leave and it looked like the transmission stepped into either neutral or maybe even reverse, because it stopped almost dead. 10:29, real nice run for Ian. Dave Day cruises through with a 16-second pass, 110, and that came with a dead stop on the start line as well. Right, last pair of cars for the WILLYS Wars. Guy Gareth Garrett and Tony with the Bandit. Guy in the energy check lane. This is his first ever run, first time I think the car's even run. So he has no idea what it's going to do, no idea how it's going to work out. But to be honest with you, considering that was home built in his garage over quite a period of time, all done by himself, excellent effort, sir, well done. 15:77, 83 miles an hour will be a very pretty timing ticket. 18:39 for Gareth and Tony and the Bandit. We're on to Nostalgia Superstock qualifying session number 1. We've already seen a bunch of these cars out here running today. However, this time they are looking for times, elapsed times. The numbers that you see on the board at the top end are what's called their dial-in or their predicted time. They are trying to get as close to those numbers as they possibly can. The closest through a couple of days of qualifying will obviously be number 1, and so on down from there. John Davison taking on Vic Parsons. It will be Vic over the line first. He's looking for 10:24. And he goes. Nothing like that. No idea why. I'm going to have to run that one again in just a minute. The only reason I say that is I think they did get a green light, but they didn't get any laps time. So we're just going to do a quick check of the timing system. Make sure everything's okay before we send the next pair on their way. Yeah, quick reboot of the timing system, I think. So Kiwi looking for 985, 994 with a 4. How close is that? Very close is the answer. So Rich Granger taking on Adrian Childs with the Eliminator. Who hasn't got a dial-in on his car? It's all right, that's why it goes quiet. We're waiting for the dial-ins to appear, but if there's none on the car, obviously they can't be put on the scoreboard as well. So yeah, if you are coming down to run, please make sure you got your dial-in on the back of the car, if you're in a dial-in class, that is, obviously. So yeah, Rich Granger with the beautiful Roadrunner. 11.25 for him, 11.05 for Lee Childs in the Auto Glim Lane. And a very nice 0-1 reaction time as well. Don't forget, this is all about getting as close to the number as possible. 11.15, 11.49. Lee, believe it or not, with that number, goes to number 1 for now. Great to see these two in Nostalgia Superstock. Amy Watkins and Mike Lacey. 9 flat is the dial-in for the Metamorphosis Camaro down there in the Auto Glim Lane. Going to air out the front wheels on that Camaro, as I'm sure Amy Watkins will as well in the energy check lane. 965 for her. You are going to see the Camaro train length. The Trans Am, Firebird. However, this is all about getting as close to the number as possible. Sounds like someone's got gear selection problems up there. Mike's over the stripe first with a 908. And a 965 for Amy goes to number 1, Mike number 3. So Chris Lyram in the energy check lane with the beautifully turned out Falcon against, I think that is Harrison in, wow, I've just realised that's actually 3 Camaros in the Brown family. 1084 is his dial-in in the Auto Glim Lane. And a 13 flat for Chris Lyram. $10.89 for Harrison, number 2 qualifier, 500ths of a second off. Number 10 for Chris, because he breaks out by 2 measly hundredths of a second. Okay, the Bossa Nova of Simon Rickwood against Dan Williams. Really? Another one of their 1,000 cars they've got hidden up there somewhere in Northamptonshire. In the Auto Glim Lane. That's an Impala, that one. Beautiful work. $10 flat for Simon, looking for 1441, 1467. Simon Rickwood goes to number 7, Dan Williams goes to number 10. I think we've got 41 cars here in Nostalgia Superstock. Pretty sure they'll be qualifying for 32 car field, if I'm not wrong. So Jim Smith and Ashley Rawson in Kermit the Duster. Kermit the Duster sounds way better than Kermit the Frog, much cooler and quicker as well. $11.50 and 10.72. $11.18. A little bit of smoke through the finish line. And $11.78 for Jim Smith. Okay, Chris. I'd never know whether it's Goodale or Good Ale. Someone needs to come and tell me. Very nicely turned out Camaro in the energy check lane, taking Neil Watkins with the purple pickup truck. Or the purple people eater. The purple eating pickup. 11.37, nicely done for Chris Goodale. Goes to the number 2 spot. Neil Watkins breaks out, which is the ultimate sin in bracket racing. Going too quick or quicker than your predicted dial-in. So Jerry Raymond, the big time Fury. Energy check lane. And Mojo with the satellite. Chief starter Mr. Marshall checking out underneath the satellite, gives him the thumbs up. In the meantime, that was quite handy for Jerry Raymond because he rolled through the beams. Second time of asking, the way they go. So Dave Comcock and Duncan Watts. Dave goes 10.36. Duncan breaks out with a 10.52. Adrian Portelli and Dave Bilodeau. What a fabulous collection of cars. These would be anywhere in the States, let alone over here. So Adrian Portelli with 11 flat with the Charger, the very unique looking Charger. Dave Bilodeau airs out the front wheels of the station wagon. The Belvedere looking for a 10.83. 10.88, nicely done, sir. He goes to number 4, Adrian number 6. And still there are more. So Claire Johnson with the Old Thunder. 9.99 is her dial-in with the orange car. In the pit lane, and Shelby Watts with Watts Family Pinto. 11.37. So predictably Claire's out in front. 10 flat, that will be number 2 qualifiers. Shelby Watts though, 11.42 on a 37. Means she is number 5. The top order changing fairly constantly through this qualifying session. Right after this we have the Wild Bunch, and then Gas the Circus, Nostalgia Pro Stock Bike, Outlaw Anglia, and then Supercharged Outlaws on the last class of the evening. Rob Terrell and Andrew Bosworth. Spirit of 66, the Coronet down there. Auto Glim Lane, 11:20 plays at 10:45. $11:15, 10:49. Rob Tyrrell goes to number 4, and a breakout in the Auto Glim Lane. So the next of the Watkins. It's going to be Tom down there in Doris the Charger. You're going to name your Charger. That's as good a name as any. It's better than Colin the Charger. I just hope he didn't hear that. Up against Billy Mills with the Cuda. 11:10, 9:47 for Tom. Very different launch for Tom that time. The car just jumped upwards as opposed to go forwards. Still goes 9:54. Takes the number 10 spot. Billy Mills into number 16 with 11.26. What I'd love to know is how many of these cars are sitting around in people's garages. It's just incredible. Where do they all come from at this time of year? Every year. Okay, last couple of pairs for Nostalgia Superstock. Ozzie Brown, that was who was in the other Brown family Camaro, 14 flat. Energy check side of the racetrack against Al Medley, the Captain Caveman Racing. Oldsmobile. Looking for 10.67. $10.85 and 14.07. Nicely done for Ozzie Brown, number 11 qualifier. Number 18 for Al Medley. Last pair, the Supernova of Lola KV. 12.90 for her and 10.70 for Guy King. With a new to us but not to him apparently, Chevelle. His other car is gone. He's looking for 10.70 with this one. 10.48, just a bit too quick, chaps. 121 miles an hour, 13.18 for Lola. She goes into the number 21 spot. That is Nostalgia Superstock qualifying session number 1. Your number 1 qualifier with a 9.65 on a 9.65. Is Amy Watkins. Claire Johnson, number 2. Chris Gudo, number 3. Rob Tyrrell, 4. Harrison Brown in at 5. We had 34 cars. Oh, I beg your pardon, we've still got another couple. I thought the Wild Bunch were lining up. We haven't finished yet. We've had 34 cars running that session. I'm not sure whether it's going to be a 32-car field. Ah, no, I know what this is. I beg your pardon. This is a rerun of the first pair that didn't get elapsed times. I thought we'd seen these before. So right after this, it is the Wild Bunch. So John Davidson and Vic Parsons for the second time of asking. They didn't get an lap time recorded, even though they should have done, so they get a chance at it again. Vic Parsons, 10.24, Auto Glim Lane, 12.52 for John Davidson. And then we're on to the Wild Bunch. Another good run for Vic Parsons. Will it be a 10.24? 10.31. He goes into the 11th spot. John Davidson, number 20, with a 12.71. Wild Bunch qualifying session number 1. We've already seen a bunch of these cars out here, no pun intended, throughout the day today. How cool was it that the Wild Bunch were actually entered into the British Drag Racing Hall of Fame this year? The organisation celebrating its 24th birthday, keeping alive the real spirit of drag racing. If you don't know, a lot of the people you see out here, in many classes actually, are just kind of regular men and women playing with fire and thunder and big noisy things. They all live in semi-detached houses, they live in flats, whatever, just like we all do. However, they just like going fast and having fun. Callum Squinchat, Brian Watson. Callum, that's an 8-second car. I don't think that'll be an 8. Well, nearly. 9.03 at 144. 11.80 for Brian Watson. So, Luca Giovanni, we've already seen Luca from Italy with the slingshot. In the Auto Glim Lane, he's taken on Andy Stones with the very, very cool little slingshot down there. That is a bike engine in there. Quickest ever run, 10.35, 132. And it is actually a Kawasaki ZX 900 cc engine, 3-stage nitrous and a 6-speed gearbox as well. Basically that is a bike on 4 wheels, if you will. Very quick one at that. Good way to go, good fun way to go racing though. So Luca Giovanni over the stripe to 10.46, 122. Andy Stones 12.40. 103 miles an hour. Lots more to come out of that car. Okay, Darryl Howes. Small block Chevy power chemical reaction in the Auto Glim Lane, taking on Alan Lloyd. Gonzo the Great vents the nitrous on Gonzo. Now this car, I don't think has ever been in the 7s, and I do know that is one thing they desperately want to do. I beg your pardon, it has, sorry. 787, 164, they want to get back into the 7s. His dad Ian has just been admitted into the Hall of Fame. His quickest run is 8.10 at 165. But Alan with Gonzo the Great. Small block Chevy. Both of these 8-second cars. Obviously Gonzo's a 7, but they've rebuilt it recently. So they might be taking it easy. 8.79, 8.70 for Darryl. Well, dragster and all today. Your next pair, Dan Boone with American Pie in the Auto Glim Lane against Paul Tarry. Triggers Broom. I think that's a Model T on there. Indeed it is. Looks from here like it's Rover powered. So Dan Boone with American Pie. Quickest run, 8.60. which I think he set as his quickest ever ET back at Easter. Well, I'm not sure that's problems with Paul Tarry, or they're both being shut off actually. Yeah, there is spots leaking out, unfortunately, underneath the altered. So that'll be Dan Boone on a solo run. 8-second injected Hemi slingshot. Nice looking run for Dan. Quickest 860, goes 864. Nicely done, 143 miles an hour. A little bit off on speed from his normal pace, but almost quickest ever on his ET. Well done, Dan. So Steve Field, Rob Brown. Steve Field with the Black Pig in the Auto Glim lane. That's a real good race, that one. I think Steve's got there first. He has just 860, 157. And Rob or Pete, not sure which, 849, 157. Okay, up next, Matt Fuller with Oblivion, one of my favourite little cars, that one. I do love that one. With an Avenger body on there against Rob Wright with the altered. Well, Rob's got problems. It is Matt. He's just dipped into the 9s before. I don't think that'll be a 9. 10.29 at 129, still a good run. So Dr. Fahern and Andy Clifford with Snake Eyes, the slingshot. So Faye drove this car for the first time ever a year ago. She's the daughter of the now sadly departed SAG. Her best time is a 9:06 at 147 miles an hour. And unfortunately, when SAG passed away, they voted unanimously that Faye should drive the car, and her first ever event in it was a year ago this weekend. Andy Clifford with the slingshot. This is his debut in the car and in the class. He's got a small block Ford in there. Well, it looks like Faye has overcome the gear shift in FE shoes almost. 970, 212. Still can't get it into top gear through the finish line by the look of it. 11.98, 111. Andy Clifford's team looking very happy with that one. Getting better and better. So Bob Morgan and the Bee Sting. Very, very nicely turned out car. In the energy check lane against Craig Larman with the Ferret. So Bob Morgan's best is a 10.03 at 133 miles an hour. Another car with a small block Chevy on board. Backed up immaculately by Mr. Bohannon by the look of it. I would say I'm not sure why we shut off. I'm not sure if someone's stuck on the racetrack up the top end, whatever it is. Hopefully it won't be a moment, won't be too long. Still loads more to come for the bunch. A lot of really fast cars in the class as well for the weekend. So just to mention again, while it all goes quiet, the Wild Bunch have been inducted into the British Drag Racing Hall of Fame, and rightly so. 24-year anniversary. For services to drag racing, as have Euro Dragster and a number of other people as well. But yeah, I think there may be someone, by the looks of it, I haven't got binoculars up here, but it looks like someone's on the racetrack right in the middle in the shutdown area. Now obviously we can't send any other cars down there at any sort of rate of knots with someone sitting out there stranded. Okay, looks like we are good to go. So Bob Morgan just warming the tyres again. So the two Altereds, one a Model T, one a Topolino. Well, it looks like it will be Bee Sting over the line first. 10.22 at 129 and a 10.50 with a 0 for Craig Larman. Sneaky Blinder and the Cheap Thrill Slingshot, the Racket Trap team. So JJ Johnson actually in the hot seat of Cheap Thrills, I beg your pardon. I thought it was our skip, but it's not for this weekend. Taking on Kevin Whiting with Sneaky Blinder. This car underneath used to be the Sneaky T and the Sneaky Glowworm. So JJ Johnson with the Slingshot way out there in front. 9.42 at 136. Problems unfortunately for Kev Whiting with Sneaky Blinder. Well, he went over the finish line at 14 miles an hour. That doesn't bode well for him making the first turn off, unfortunately. Well, if all of you, how many of you folks out there in the grandstands or on the banking are all staying on site tonight? Are you all camping? Everybody? Yeah. Why would you want to go home? Why would you want to go and stay in a hotel? That's for boring people. Anyway, but don't forget, into the evening, we've got loads for you to see and do. Obviously, we have the Vintage Hub over there behind the Spectator Banking with bands on. There's the beer festival going on over there. There's loads of different themes. Or loads of different themed ales going on over there too. Also, don't forget, you can walk around the pits, have a chat to all the drivers. Janne Johansson is so good to see him here again from Sweden with all the beautifully restored nostalgia funny cars. Some of them from Sweden, some of them from the USA over there. There is lots for you to see and do on site all throughout the weekend. Yeah, just waiting to get Kevin Whiting retrieved from up the top end. Glad the sun's decided to join us for the rest of the evening. So right after Wild Bunch, it's the Gas Circus. So James Orb with Little Foe taking on Philippa Turton with the Beechcraft. James Orb goes 12.55. Now, if I'm not completely wrong, which does happen sometimes, that I'm not completely wrong, I think this is a Ball Breaker UK versus Ball Breaker Sweden matchup, because I'm pretty damn sure that the car on the pit side of Johan Tjernström is called Ball Breaker as well, and it's only because I just read it on the side of the car. I do happen to know definitely that the Limited Funds team in the Auto Glim Lane are Mark Corsell, backed up by Steve, his crew chief out front. I'm pretty sure that they're both very, very evenly matched as well.
Don't trip. Don't fall over. One step, two step beyond.
So yeah, Hank Turnstrom's put in a couple of runs already today in the mid-8s, not mid-7s, that would be nice. Mark Corsell's been down into the 8-1s before. Should be a pretty good race, to be honest with you, between these two. Ball Breaker Sweden versus Ball Breaker UK. Pick your favourite. Just don't say it out loud, it'd be obvious. Well, home shot to the home team. Mark flies through with an 8.36 to an 8.61. Johan Turnström. Both went 153 miles an hour. Okay, last couple I think for the Wild Bunch. Andy Jackson with the Econorail with the side-mounted supercharged 6-cylinder in there. So we've got a Union Jack parachute, that takes some doing. In the Auto Glim Lane, and he's up against Keith Crampton being guided in by Willy Wonka. Yeah, you heard that right if you're listening at home. Well, Andy Jackson with a pretty good looking run, and same for Keith Crampton. 11.73 at 122, 11.30 for Keith Crampton. As we move on with the Gasser Circus. First qualifying session again. First pair, Tim Holmes with the max wedge in the Auto Glim Lane. 1080 is his darling. 1051 for Katie Booth. With the Mighty Mouse. Look like breakouts pair on that one. So the Roaring Rat with Ken Brooks on board, the 57 Bel Air taking on Mitchell Looker, the higher roller Falcon. 11.82 for him, 10.20 for the Roaring Rat. Another fantastic piece of UK drag racing history. Once again, qualifying based on dial-in, 10.37 and 11.75. Currently number 1 and 2. We've only had 2 pairs of cars there. I doubt it will stay like that. So, Ray Toner with the Green Onions, 55 Chevy, 11.41 for him, 11.35 for Graham Barton. With the little Devon down there in the Auto Glim Lane. Well, pretty evenly matched as you'd expect. 11.29 too quick, 11.43. Ray Turner goes to number 1. So the crowd pleaser. John Gibson with the 55. Just watch the way he shifts the car as he goes down the racetrack, taking on Mick Allen with that awesome little Corvette. So nicely turned out. 12 flat is his dial-in. Now you would obviously expect the 55 to be out in front. Well, and up as well. That was a proper wheel stand. Awesome stuff from John Gibson. 11.05. Way too quick for Mick Allen. And not quick enough for John Gibson. So, Nervous Nick in Not Bad the Bad, a 1948 Austin Devon Gasser, which is obviously what Austin Devons were built for all those years ago in the Auto Glim Lane. Taking on Brian Gibson, the Identity Crisis 64 Dart. Beautifully turned out machine. Good looking wheel stand off the start line as well for Brian. Gets to the top end with 11.15, just that bit too quick. Nervous Nick though goes to number 2 with 11.56 on a 42. Nicely done, sir. Okay, Tony Pearson with the Guzzler, 1956 Chevy taking on Martin Hallam with the 33. The more sit up and beg version of the 33 that you've seen than you've seen in the WILLYS Wars a little earlier on. He's looking for a 10.60, 11.30 for Tony. Little bit of a double step off the line for Tone. $10.79 and 11.45 though. Still gets Tony Pearson the number 3 qualified spot for the moment. Sean Milson with the Ain't Misbehaving. Good to see a new bit of timber on the car. Otherwise known as a roof, obviously. Alongside Merv Bennett with the Dorset. Again, all these cars were originally built to be gassers because they just look so cool like it. 11.50 for Merv, 10.17 for Sean. He's been down in the 9s. I think he went around about that number earlier on today. Came out and made a test run in Run What You Brung. Sean deadly on the tree with an 0.42. It doesn't matter in qualifying, but it's damn good practice for when they come out to race. Sean, he goes, oh, 10.16 with an 8. Merv breaks out as well, but Sean Milson was only 2 measly thousandths of a second away from a perfect elapsed time. Ray Irish and Nick Barnett. We've already seen Ray in the WILLYS Wars with the pickup in the energy check lane. 10.20, 11.59 for Nick with the awesomely ratty looking Falcon. Good reaction times a pair, both of those. Breakout for Ray Irish, but Nick Barnett goes to number 2 with a 11.64 on a 59. Steve Matthews on a bye run is going to finish up this session for the Gasser Circus. Very quickly through. Good to see. Professional, well organised class. $11.08 goes to 11.11. He goes to the number 2 spot with the last run of the session. So that's Gasser Circus done. We're on to Nostalgia Pro Stock Bike qualifying session number 1 in the energy check lane. Nipper himself, that's Mark Stevens. I just wish the original king of the H2s, Mr. Collier, was here with us this weekend, but yeah, well, you never know. We might kick him back here one day soon. Up against Kev Melling with the Stinger. Both of these two got little H2 engines in there. Both very capable of going very quickly indeed. Low 9s, maybe even high 8s. Whoa. I think Nippers broke something out there around about 130. He looked like he was on a good run. 9.01 at 141 for Kev Melling. Looks like Nippers got drive back again. I'm not sure he's going to get any laps time though, because I think he went before the 3 came down. Well, what's really good about this weekend, we have a bunch of overseas visitors here with us. But how cool is that? We've got one in Nostalgia Pro Stock Bike as well. Stefan Axelsson from Sweden with the GSX 1100 down there in the Auto Glim lane. Up against Gary Clark with another one of these Kawasaki powers. Still think it's just incredible that all this stuff is just sitting in people's garages, you know, in their workshops, that kind of thing. And it gets brought out pretty much once a year, and every time it does, they run so well. So UK versus Sweden this time round. Well, Gary Clark is long gone to a 10.90 at 130. Stefan with all kinds of problems getting off the line, 12.20, 119. He's still got another few more qualifying sessions to go tomorrow, though, before we get into racing proper. However, he's got to qualify. It is going to be a 16-bike field. So, Gary Clark went through with a 10.90. He's currently number 2 qualified. Okay, Sean Biddicombe and Gerd Matzol from Germany with the white bike, matched by the smoke, I hate to say. Oh, that has cleared up as he's gone down the racetrack. That is good news. So Sean, 12.07 and a 12.62 from our friend from Germany. Okay, Andy Lambert with Comfortably Numb. You know, all these bikes are so period correct because they're as they were, you know, pretty much then. Against Richard Peachy. Richard on the Auto Glim side of the racetrack. Andy Lambert has already put in a test run earlier on today. I don't think we're going to be seeing all of our Nostalgia Pro Stock bikes in this qualifying session. They will be here throughout the weekend, don't worry, they will be here tomorrow. We're just about to get cracking with, literally, with Outlaw Anglia. 31 of them for your viewing pleasure coming up in just a minute. Current number 1 qualifier is 9.01. Andy Lambert goes 9.42 and a 10.38 for Rich Peachy. Okay, is that Liz down there? I saw Liz come round, but I haven't seen her run yet. Oh no, she's up in the next pair, beg your pardon. My mistake. So Claire Rule, yeah, no, I beg your pardon, it is Claire Rule taking on Liz Charman. Claire is in the Auto Glim lane, putting a few test runs today. Liz, this is her first run of the weekend on one of Richard's machines, by the looks of it, Richard Gibb. Well, the number 1 qualifying spot is a 9.01. Claire Rule has been very close to that already in testing today. 9.07 at 1.45. Problems that time round for Liz, though, by the look of it. Rolls through with a 13.28. We do have quite a few more bikes hanging about the premises to show you tomorrow, though. Outlaw Anglia's biggest ever show in their 25 plus years of existence. I think it's 27 now, something like that. They've been around Outlaw Anglia. But yeah, this is the biggest show ever for Outlaw Anglia. Barry Crookston, the Flying Saltier, in the energy check lane, one of 3 that come out of the same garage up there in Fife, taking on Jeff Meads. Now Jeff's car is street legal. Take the wheelie bar off. I think he still runs on treads actually as well, but he's edging ever closer towards the 7s. However, there's a couple of cars that are edging closer towards the 6s, would you believe? So Barry Crookston, this is his first season with this car. Well, Jeff Meads way out there in front. 898, 151, and a 1028 at 130 for Barry. Matt Cooper blowing out the cobwebs of the blown small block Chevy. What's a small block Chevy? Small block Chevy, even, in the energy check lane. Car has dipped into the 7s on a few occasions. Most recently, you've been down into the low 8s. Takes a lot to get a blown small block anything into the 7-second zone, but Matt and his brother, who's out front directing him back, did it with this car. Against Adrian Whitcomb. Now you will notice some of these, some of the cars in Outlaw Anglia are much more, how can I say, purposeful race vehicles. Some look a lot more like street cars. However, because they're Anglias, it doesn't matter. They're all eligible to run in this class. I mean, Jeff Meads, you just saw there was an 8-second street car. So Matt Cooper, Adrian Whitcomb. Your next pair. Very nice launch for Matt Cooper. Keeps it nailed in 828. 11.16 at 122 for Adrian Whitcomb. Really good effort. Needless to say, so far Matt Cooper is #1 qualifier. However, I would say that may change. It also may change in the next pair, because up next we've got the Dayglow Twister himself. Oh, sorry, Gas Attack, I beg your pardon, it's because it's a Dayglow colour. Paul Hensher. Paul pulled out one of the runs of the season earlier on in the semi-finals. I think it was against Colin Miller back at the Big Bang. And he went down way quicker than he's been before, dipped into the 7.4s with this car. Taking on Gary Hill with a little small block Anglia on the energy check side of the racetrack. Well, problems for Paul Hensher as he went to get on the 2-step. Yeah. 10.21 at 131 for Gary Hill. Nice looking run. Opens his account, but unfortunately, Paul Hensher doesn't yet. They've still got another few qualifying sessions tomorrow, a good couple of qualifying sessions anyway, but you don't want to waste any of them. Up next, the Banshee of Mr. Mick Taylor. He's been putting in some test runs today, down into the 8s. They've had kind of directional issues for a little while with that car, and then all of a sudden it all came together at the last event, and I think he ran an 8.3, and all was right with the world again. So it looks like here's Mick Taylor on his own. So he vents the nitrous. That little Fordson van is rapidly quick. Sort of thing you could go shopping and get home on a warm day before your frozen stuff defrosts in the back of that. Well, Mick with a very, very lazy launch. I doubt if that'll be an 8-second run, to be honest. 9.79 at 1:45. Something not quite working right. He's got a number on the board, but not what he wanted. Okay, Rob Stone with the big Top Fuel style wing on the back of his little red Anglia, or big red Anglia if you prefer. In the energy check lane. Not sure who Rob's taking on. That's Luke Hoskins with the Let It Be. You can't ever design a car that is less likely to be going 170, 180 miles an hour in a quarter mile than one of these tiny little cars. Yeah, being English, we don't like doing things in a straightforward manner. We like making stuff that really isn't supposed to go quick run very quick indeed. Rob Stone, 9.41 at 1:41. And 10.46, nicely done for Luke Hoskins. That car is a real sleeper. Well, it looks like Paul Hench is going to have another stab at it with the gas attack. So Adam Cuthbert, we saw him put a run in earlier during the Run What You Brung session. Getting more and more comfortable in the really nicely turned out primered supercharged Anglia in the energy check lane. And Paul Hencher, second bite at it with the gas attack. Wow, Paul Hencher is hooked up and gone. 7.45, 179, nearly 180 miles an hour. I think if he hadn't pulled the chute slightly early, that would have been over 180 miles an hour. I'm pretty sure also that is Paul Hencher's new personal best. Adam Cuthbert getting there as well with a 10.24 at 1:32. Your new number one qualifier in the 7.4s already. Well done, Paul Hencher. I think he just did that for a dramatic pause. Pause for effect, I think that was. Didn't do it the first time, came back and did it the second. Name we haven't heard for too long in drag racing. Phil Druitt used to be a big part of the Super Gas series back in the 90s. Maybe even 80s. Probably 90s, just in case I get in trouble. Against Barry Woodford with the Woodford Pop. Now Barry Woodford's car's got wheelie bars and a wing. Phil Druitt's hasn't. It doesn't mean it's going to be hanging about though. So rolling in to stage. Well, there we go. Even though he's got no wheelie bars and no wing, Phil Druitt way out there in front. 9.57, 140. 10.33 for Barry Woodford. Scotty Crookson with the Flying Scotsman in the All-Tag Eliminate. Another one who's dipped into the 7.4s, went 7.49 only recently at the Summer Nationals, I think. He's taking on Andy Cunningham, excuse me, with the Agent Orange. Andy's put in a few good runs today. Scott Crookston vents the nitrous on the big block Chevy powered pop. So if the form book goes the right way, it will be Scott Crookston getting there first, but obviously this is all about elapsed times. And that looks like a good one for Scotty, 110 to 60 foot. 7:51, 176, nigh on personal best off the trailer. And Agent Orange goes 11:63, 116. Now, I do have to explain, there is a very real chance you will see something special at some point soon, whether it's this weekend, whether it's another weekend where the Anglias are racing. Simon Barlow with the Beast, the supercharged big block pop in the Auto Glim lane. Testing last weekend at the Ford show went 7:08 at over 190 miles an hour. I think he went 192. So there's every chance this car will be the first Ford pop into the 60s and maybe even over 200 miles an hour. However, it's still a tricky proposition because you've got to harness all that horsepower in what still is a very short wheelbase car. That's Simon Barlow in the Auto Glim lane. Peter Jones with, again, another immaculately turned out machine. It's going to be a silo for Simon Barlow. Let's see what the team have got set in the car. Like I said, 7:08 the other day at the Ford show. A very soft 60 foot, 122. Shootout before the finish line, 7:73, 177. I think that was just to get it down the racetrack and get it in the show type of run. I'm sure they're going to step it up sometime shortly. Problems though for Pete Jones as he went into stage. I think he was leaking something, unfortunately. So the number one qualified spec so far is Paul Henscher. With a 7:45, number two, Scotty Crookston, 7:51. That could change in just a moment because we have Mr. Miller coming up. However, the car has not been behaving itself today. Longest burnout of the day so far goes to the Flamed Pop from Scotland. So instead of a supercharger for motor or supercharged big block for motivation, Colin Miller has got a massive 600-inch plus carburetted big block with nitrous oxide on there. There you go. He's venting the nitrous oxide, making sure it's all clean and clear, ready to go into the engine. Last year at this event on the Saturday evening, he went 7:35, the quickest ever run in Outdoor Anglia at that point, I might add. He's since improved that slightly, I think, to a 7.30 for him. However, Simon Barlow in the meantime has surpassed him with a 7:08. In Tweddle with the anxious 502 cubic inch Anglia in the Auto Glim lane. Collins had trouble getting off the line. If this car gets off the line and goes, it will be a very quick run. The big thing is if. There we go, tyre shake and spin again off the start line. Gives it a pedal and then boots it all the way through. Still goes, look at the speed. 188 miles an hour out of a Ford Pop is outstanding. He still goes 784. 11 flat for Ian Tweddle, 119. Well, I think just get that damn car off the line. I think it will be very fast. Indeed, 188 miles an hour. That's moving for a Ford Pop. So Ronnie Mercer taking on Rob Turrington with the Anglia-Saxon. I do like that as an idea, as a theme for a car. Very, very cool. Well, we've still got lots of good stuff to show you. I think we may have a couple of our Cannonball Funny cars doing a little bit of testing very shortly too. So Ronnie Mercer, been running regularly in Pro ET recently. This time back where, kind of where the car belongs, I guess, in Outlaw Anglia. And with the nitrous on by the look of that launch as well. He normally keeps it consistent for Pro ET. This is going to be quick. 9:42, 1:39. Excellent stuff from Ronnie Mercer. 10:99 for Rob Turrington with the Anglia-Saxon. Aren't these cars just so cool? They don't look like they're going to run anything like that quick and then do it. Well, oh, Steve Wells pushed back, unfortunately. Another one I was looking forward to see run with the pickup. He's going to be going, whoa. Shane Bird is out there. Shane Bird goes through the 12:32. Ladies and gentlemen, please give your biggest round of applause and welcome back to Mr. Al O'Connor. Last seen, unfortunately, upside down in the shutdown area. This is so cool to see. I know they were rebuilding the car. I thought they were just going to be showing it. I did not know they would be out here racing again. So cool to see Al back here on the start line. The car looking as gorgeous as ever. I'm sure Al is as well. Well, I'm sure that was a nice little touch, but ladies and gentlemen, once again, please put your hands together for the team. An enormous amount of work to get that car back together. A proper piece of drag racing history. The man himself and the car itself. Well done. Dave Eady, Ginner, everybody else down there. What an effort. Congratulations. That's so good to see Al back. 16-second pass, but I don't think anyone cares. He's back. That's the most important thing. So he's still got a few more Anglias to go. That was a big surprise because I genuinely thought he was just showing the car. I really didn't realise he was going to be out here racing it again. So it's so good to see Al's Gasser back here on where it belongs, on the Sandspot quarter mile. Right, still more to come. I see Keaton Harrison. And Ted Booth coming around with Mighty Mouse. I think we saw Katie in Gasser Circus. That's obviously Ted's go in Outlaw Anglia. Ted just making sure the tyres are worn out before the race proper starts on Saturday. Well, we've got a few more Anglias. We've also got some test runs coming up. We can see Andy Raw with the Nitro Bug around the back of the tower as well. Going to be running shortly. I think the Chi-Town Hustler's not far away as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you aren't in a viewing area, now is a very good time to get there. So we finish up Outlaw Anglia. We've also got Supercharged Outlaw to go and a few test passes, and that will be us for the day. It's barbecue time, or whatever you want it to be time. It can be drinking beer in the sunshine over watching a band time if you like, or taking in some fabulous nostalgia machinery in the pits drinking a beer time, if you like. Well, even though Ted vented the nitrous, that was not as quick as he's been before, I don't think. 1074, 125. Yep. And 13.19 for Brian Nixon. So another orange pop. Going up against Kim Harrison with Ruby. Nathan Barlow on board. In the Auto Glim Lane, Nathan. Good to see him bringing out the car this weekend. Let's just have a quick look. How many cars have we had run? We've had 23 runs so far. This will make it 25. .1042 at 126. So Gary Bird will be the last car in Outlaw Anglia. We do have a number of cars round the back of the tower, so if you want your first whiff of nitro of the weekend, unless you've already had it when you've been walking around the pits and you've checked out some warm-ups, now's a really good time to get yourself in the stand or on the spectator banking. We've also got Supercharged Outlaws down there as well. See Joel Kerr, Star Chief, just poking its nose around from behind the tower. So it's going to be a really fast and loud end to a wonderful Friday here at Dragstalgia. Nice looking run from Gary Bird. Is that going to be an 8? Oh, 905, 146 miles an hour. Still a strong run all the way from 1 inch to 1,320 feet. Well done. That wraps up qualifying for Outlaw Anglia. Your number one qualifier at the end of that session is Paul Henshaw with a 745. Scotty Crookson, number 2 with a 751. Then Simon Barlow, and I think off the top of my head, number 4 was Mr. Miller. Right, the rattling roar you can hear is the first ever appearance on a UK drag strip for the Nitro Bug, with Andy Raw in the hopefully not very hot seat. This car has been 4 years or thereabouts in the making. The body is one of a kind. Well, the driver's one of a kind as well, but there we go. So Andy Raw has driven Beetle funny cars before, but never with a blown fuel engine in. Well, as debut burnouts will go, I'd take that. Just from a burnout, lots of smiley faces and 4 years worth of hard work all become worth it. So let's hope Andy does come back again. This is his first time out in this car. It doesn't appear like... yeah, I think he might need a push back. He is coming back on his own, but for whatever reason, maybe it's something to do with the clutch setting. Every time, by the looks of it, he's letting the clutch out. It's just not happening. Well, Carl's standing out at the back directing traffic, but no one's watching. There we go. Dave picks up the post. So I'm guessing this will be just a launch for Andy Raw. His first ever time in any kind of fuel car, and he's been dragged into stage by Carl Harrison. It's a new one on me. Well, there we go, mission accomplished. That's what he needed to do, get to around about 60 foot, and he certainly did that. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, please put your hands together for the Nitro Bug team. That's been 4 years in the making, and to say they are relieved is a little bit of an understatement. It wasn't the most storming launch ever, it wasn't the quickest run ever, but it doesn't matter when it all works like it's supposed to after just an incredible amount of hard work. Life suddenly becomes a lot better. We've still got more of them. We've got more funny cars. We've got Robin Reed with the Nitro Daimler and Mr. Priddle, sir. Very good evening. Good to see you, and in a team shirt as well. So the Chi-Town Hustler up next. Paul Harris on board. Paul's actually been working really hard. He's been up here a couple of times trying to get his license signed off. He came up here at, I think it was in May. Give the Nitro Bug team a cheer, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, 4 years hard work, all of a sudden feels like nothing because the car got out on the start line and made it down the racetrack. Well done, guys. Well done, Carl. Well done, the whole team. Beautifully turned out, and what a stonking debut burnout that was as well. You can never take that one back. So, Paul Harris on board. The Omni Funny Car, one of my favourite types of, or favourite nostalgia funny car bodies from years ago. Yeah, Paul came out here in May, made a few runs at the Spring Speed event. Unfortunately, car got a little bit out of shape and he tagged the wall. Everything was okay, he was all right with the car, and I think it was just a little scrape on the head. There's nothing major. However, when you're trying to learn how to drive one of these cars, it certainly gets your attention when it goes almost straight left off the start line. So Paul Harris, with a car he bought here a year ago for our viewing pleasure. Now with him in the seat. Pretty much a Chi-Town Hustler burnout as well. Not too much smoke, but that's down to the way the track prep works out these days. Lovely big old whiff of nitro up in the tower as well certainly helps. So Paul's coming back, got lots of good help on the car. I can see, well, Dennis Priddle's down here, Herb Andrews as well. Now, Paul's got a new body for this in the works, which is a tribute to one of Dennis's old funny cars, the Leverkusen Monza. The body's here, it's just not ready yet. So they're running with what they know until Paul feels comfortable in the car. And then when he does, they will bring the Omni out, and it will be an awesome piece of kit. Funny enough, at some point in the distant past, Dennis Priddle did actually bring over and run, very briefly, a Dodge Omni funny car, which was, I think, off the top of my head, was Lenin Brogdon's Centurion. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, don't expect anyone to set the world on fire, or hopefully himself. Paul Harris is getting used to the ropes in a nitro funny car. He's made a few test launches, had a quick brush with the wall, trying to get further down the racetrack with everything under power and under control. I'm guessing maybe 60 foot, maybe 330, something like that, depending on how he feels. The last thing you want to do with a fuel car, though, is run it too far down the racetrack, because they have a nasty habit of coming apart if the tune isn't exactly right. I do like the tuning pat as well. at. Paul having one of those yes-no moments on the throttle, 122 to 60 foot. Pulls the chute around about half track just to make sure it works, obviously. He's only going to trickle through the top end of the 13-second run, but it's all part of the learning process when you're running and trying to drive a nitro funny car. So we've also got Tim Garlick with the Apache round the back of the tower. Europe's quickest Nostalgia Nitro funny car, been down in the 5s on numerous occasions. But up next, before we get there, we do have Robin Reed with another piece of history as well, to be honest with you. That car's been around an awful long while now. Powered by a Daimler Nitro Hemi. Probably the smallest and quickest nitro engine in the world, other than maybe a Top Fuel bike, obviously. But on 4 wheels, I think that car has only got about 152 cubic inches. And he certainly makes the most of it. He's so nearly a couple of years back when he wants to run 200 miles an hour. He's been down in the 60s on numerous occasions. He ran 199 point around about something. It's just so close. It's also going to be side by side Robin Reed taking on Tim Garlick. I know I might have said this before, but I forgot how much fun burnouts without throttle stops are on fuel cars. Actually, you still might have a throttle stop on there, but it's just quite a big one, obviously. So the 1978 Trans Am backing up in the energy check lane. The tiny weeny 2.5 litre Daimler in the auto glim lane of Robin Reed. How's about that as well? That's what you call professionalism. Backs up exactly in his burnout tracks without anyone telling him what to do. Not sure whether Tim Garlick's going to go for a full pass this time round. Maybe he's just going to go for some short numbers, see how the car's running, check it out. Maybe similar to Robin Reed, just a check-out run. So, funny car against Dragster, fuel funny car against fuel Dragster. Well, it's a stormer for both of them. I think Timmy's out of it at the top end. Robin goes 7.25 at 182, 7.08 at 137. That was obviously testing the short numbers for Tim Garlick. 106 to 60 foot, 407 at 168. He was already out of it by then. 465 at 151 to Robin at half track. A bit soft by comparison for that car. It's been over half a second quicker than that little Nitro Daimler. But that's what today's all about. It is just a little bit of testing in preparation for what's coming tomorrow. And what's coming tomorrow is 2 rounds of the Nostalgia Cannonball, 12 cars entered. And these are going to be some of the cars that you will see. We've also got 2 Swedish visitors for your viewing pleasure this weekend. Nitrocalypse and Trey Kroner. Toby Janssen and Eric Wallander. Give the team a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That's Robin Reed's team and Tim Garlick's crew as well. Just making sure everything's ship-shape, ready to go for tomorrow's qualifying runs for the Nostalgia Cannonball. So, I think the last car with a body on it. Tony Betts with Venom. Lots and lots of new stuff on this car. Even though from the outside it looks like it's the same car with a different paint job, it absolutely isn't. There's a whole new engine in there. The body as well is brand new. Brand new carbon fibre body on there. And doesn't it look, everything that Tony turns out looks absolutely top notch. He also has the man himself and the legend that is Mr. Roland de Jong out there on the start line. Good to see Roland getting some guidance from Paul Watson. I never thought I'd say that, but there we go. So here comes Tony Betts. Well, looking loaded for bear. More smoke coming out the pipes and off the tyres that time. The tyres still will be nice and warm. Not sure how far Tony's going to try and go down the racetrack because last weekend was their first checkout passes on the new engine and combination. That is Mr. Roland Leong, him of, well, he is the Hawaiian. He is the original Hawaiian. He is the one and only Hawaiian. And it is so cool for us to have him here at Sans Pod for the weekend for Dragstalgia. Hopefully get a chance to have a word or two with him down on the start line over the next couple of days. And he's helping out. So not sure how far Tony's going to be going down the racetrack, but we're about to find out. 1970 and a half Camaro body on there. Whoa. Revs went through the roof just after half track. I think he plugged it in high gear and it just tended to over rev a little bit. Very soft on the launch, 116 to 60, 421 at 177 to the 8th. I know at some point over the weekend they will be looking for more than that. Still goes 693 at 156, but it sounded like something may have even let go in the driveline because the revs did soar after he punched it in high gear just past half track. But I think that's mission accomplished, and we are back on with the Supercharged Outlaws. This is our final class coming out and running today. Record entry in this class again, 22 Supercharged Outlaws. First pair round, Dorcar and Altered. And I think off the top of my head, number 4 was Mr. Miller. Right, the rattling roar, you